So what's your revenue been like numbers wise in less than a month?
So less than a month, I closed 11 sales, and we're at 105,000, a little over $105,000.
Wow.
So
Is
yeah,
is March typically a strong month for you?
um, the end of March starts to be really, really strong with us. We had the best February I've ever had.
Hmm.
In the tail end of February, I think I closed. I don't I have the numbers just for the week, but let me see, one, two, three, four, five, six. So six of those jobs were closed in February, so that really helped us
And
out.
we started, you said February 21st?
22nd.
22nd, yeah.
Cool.
So what's up, man? How's life?
What's going on? How are you?
Good. Good to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely.
So I'd love to just kind of start from the beginning and go through kind of how we met and how it's going and how it started, how it's going. You know, that meme, that kind of
Absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely. Well,
So,
I found you on Facebook. I saw one of your video ads with a guy out in, I believe, Indianapolis or Indiana. Intrigued by what he was talking about generating leads off Facebook and all that jazz. And he seemed like he was on the same journey where he went through a bunch of different firms as far as, HomeAdvisor or pay-per-click and all that jazz that I've run the gamut with, I think, everybody.
yeah.
And, the false promises of, hey, this is going to work, and then it doesn't work, and then, hey, give us another month, and you signed a 6-month contract with them, and then it turns into, hey, your website's not good enough, so we need to adjust your website, and all that stuff. So, and then you forget about it, and then you sign up with somebody else, and then the same thing happens. So I was intrigued in the fact that he said it was instantaneous, and I was like, let me give it a shot. Talk to you. Everything sounded legit, and I guess long story short, it turned out to be legit. It was instantaneous. The first day you turned me on, I forget how many leads I got. I got one the first day. I got one every single day, and then this third day I got 2 leads
Yeah.
right from the gate.
How long have we been working together?
22nd, so not even a month.
Not even a month. How many have you closed?
I've closed 11 deals.
Sweet.
I got a bunch of stuff pending, some insurance jobs that are still pending. I pitched 16 people so far. I've contacted 27, so I still have some. I ran one earlier today, should close. And then I have one this afternoon, 3 for tomorrow, and 2 for Thursday. So, yeah, we got just yesterday, I think, or the day before, five leads came through in one day.
That was on the weekend, right?
Oh, Sunday, yeah.
Sunday, yeah. Yeah, the weekends can be hot.
I took my kids snowboarding yesterday, and I'm like freaking out, like, man, I want to call these people back.
That's so funny. That's a good problem to have.
Absolutely.
So you tried other marketing companies before?
I've tried them all, man. I feel like I've tried them all.
Yeah. What was your experience? Like, give me an example. Like, what did one of them say they were going to do, and then what was it like?
So they're all across the board the same thing. You talk to somebody that's really cool on the phone, seems like a nice person. They promise you everything under the stars like everybody else does, and then you sign up with them, and then you get passed on to somebody else. So they're not even your contact anymore, and then it turns into an issue where they promised you or said this was going to happen, and then they're nowhere to be found. And then I'm dealing with some project manager that is telling me, hey, well, that's not kind of how it works. We need time for it to work. And with this, you're spending the money up front. You need it to work sooner than later. You can't wait for 6 months to see if this thing's going to work or not.
What service did you sign up for? Like, was it Facebook? Was it Google Ads? Was it Google SEO? What was it?
It was pay-per-click. So we use Reach Local, Dex Media. There was 5 or 6 of them that we used, and they all ended the same. Something was wrong with the website that needed to be adjusted. The landing page wasn't, we got X amount of clicks. Well, the problem is I don't know how many clicks came in, right? They could just be making up numbers, but all I can know is they weren't converting to leads. So, and I was spending a ton of money on on the clicks, and it just wasn't turning out to be anything. So it's the same thing. Like I said, it's a 6-month contract. You got to sign up with them, and it never works out. So.
And you've tried HomeAdvisor and Angie's List?
Oh yeah, man. I've been with HomeAdvisor. I was with HomeAdvisor for a long time, since like 2011, 2012, and it was awesome at the beginning for sure. When it was $30 to $60 a lead, depending on what it was, and I was cool with the numbers game at that point. I knew that I wasn't going to get a hold of everybody. I knew some of them were going to be trash leads, but the ones we got a hold of and the conversions on them made it work at $30 to $60, but now it's $100 to $300 or $250, depending on its exact match. It's too expensive for you to play the numbers game.
Yeah.
So it changes the whole dynamic of that.
What's it like? Sorry, go ahead.
And I used Angie's List too before they changed to the non-paid for the consumer. So that kind of has changed as well.
What was it like running the leads for HomeAdvisor, Angie's List types things?
The leads for HomeAdvisor and Angie's List were on the same line. People were ready. The leads I was running, people were ready to buy. It was only frustrating on the side when they were tricked into the lead. It seemed like, hey, we didn't sign up for this, or I had this ad pop up, and I kind of just thought, how much is my roof going to cost? But when we actually ran a lead for Angie's List and HomeAdvisor, it was decent. They were in a buying position.
When did you stop using them?
Ah, man, it's been years since I used Angie's List. I don't know, how many years ago did they change to the non-paid? 2 years, 3 years ago?
I don't know.
So it's been a while since I've been I haven't paid Angie's List. The HomeAdvisor, it's probably been about a year and a half.
But you stopped using it because it stopped working as well?
It stopped working as well, and then HomeAdvisor just got too expensive.
Yeah. Okay. And then when you say it stopped working as well, was it just the price, or was it also the lead quality drop?
Oh, both. It was always a problem with the lead quality, but just the value changed when it went from the 30, 60 to 100, 200.
And then you would run the lead, and then is it the cliche where you show up and there's 3 other guys already there kind of thing?
You would definitely, it would be competitive for sure. Or they would try to, I mean, it didn't happen. We try to close that on the phone that we have this time slots just for us. We try to get both homeowners at home, so we can, try to close in the house.
So you're doing some pretty serious qualifying on the phone when you call people.
Oh, absolutely.
That's smart. And then what is it like? What's your experience been with the leads that you're getting from the system that we set up for you? Like from the time they come in to the calling them and all that kind of stuff.
So it's been awesome, man. I always try to call them right away. I always had that mindset, especially with the HomeAdvisor, the first person to contact them was going to get the 80% rule. 80% of those people are going to go with their first contact. So I'm on the horn as soon as they come in. That's why I was itching yesterday. Felt like, like addict. I was like, I couldn't get to the phone because I'm having my kids and all that. Yeah. So I set them, and it's funny, man. These leads are totally different. Where I thought the HomeAdvisors were in buying positions, but when I'm on these leads, these people have gotten, I want to say 80% of the people I've closed already had that 3 or 4 estimates already. And then I come in and being the last estimate at that point is just huge. So one guy said to me, he said, hey man, your algorithms must be working because I was just talking to my wife about a roof. So, joking that I came through his Amazon and then my ad came up. So
that's so funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so you run these leads. Are you calling them? Are you texting them? How are you getting in touch with them?
So I'm calling them. And if I can't get a hold of them, then I'll text them and email. And the majority of people that I've been out, they answer the phone right away. I did have one lady, it was funny over the weekend. She sent me an inquiry on Sunday, and I called her right back, and she's like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to call me on a Sunday. And this is the only time it ever happened. She's like, I was expecting you calling me back. This is too soon. Just take me off your list. And I'm like, really?
Wow, all right.
Most people nowadays, they're so instantaneous.
Yeah.
That they're like, if you don't call me right away, then you must not be interested.
So you didn't even want to call like later?
No, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So that's the only time it's ever happened, but that's how quickly I'm calling people.
Yeah. Meanwhile, right now your ads are following her around. She doesn't know what to do with herself.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. She'll call me later.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. So what's your revenue been like numbers wise in less than a month?
So less than a month, I closed 11 sales, and we're at 105,000, a little over $105,000.
Wow.
So
Is
yeah,
is March typically a strong month for you?
um, the end of March starts to be really, really strong with us. We had the best February I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
In the tail end of February, I think I closed. I don't have the numbers just for the week, but let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 of those jobs were closed in February. So that really helped us out.
And we started, you said February 21st?
22nd.
22nd, yeah. That's awesome.
So yeah, so March is always big because people would get their tax returns back and ready to burn that money. Now the stimulus money, hopefully I get some of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people have money to spend. Who cares that there's mass inflation?
Absolutely. Who cares?
Who cares? Yeah. Just print more. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's great, man. So what's the future look like then? What are your goals for the next 2 months?
To go to as many people's houses as possible. So, getting these leads, if I get 1 to 2 a day, I'm super happy, and it looks like from the contact thing, I'm contacting 60% of the people, and more than that, 68% of the people. And if I can just get in the door, my closing rate's really high with these people. So I just need them to answer and me get to the house.
Yeah. You mentioned now, and this might make me look like an inexperienced business person, but you mentioned your slugging percentage, basically.
Yeah.
Is that a term that's used in the sales world?
It's used in my sales world.
So is this something you invented, like that term?
I didn't invent it. I kind of got it from a friend of mine. It's almost like my batting average. So your batting average tells you like, hey, this is, you're going to hit X amount. So my slug rate now is, and what slug means, so I'll explain it to you again. So every time I go to a house, whether I sell it or not, it's my total sales divided by the amount of leads I ran for this particular avenue. So my slug average right now is $66,615. So
right.
That's revenue.
I think that's such an awesome way to look at it, because every sale has different milestones, just like every lead has different milestones. Like for me, the first thing that I have to do to make your ads work is I have to create an ad that gets people to stop scrolling when they're in their news feed. And then after that, there's another milestone. I have to get them to actually read it. And then from there, there's another milestone. I have to get them to feel something. After they've read it, I have to get them to really want to click it. And then after they click it, I have to get them to want to fill out the form.
Yeah.
So there are different milestones and incentives, but it's interesting the way that you do it, because figuring out how much money on average you make just by getting to the person's house makes the motivation to get them on the phone and schedule that appointment a million times more motivating, because
Absolutely.
Every time you get to someone's house, it's basically worth $6,600 to you just for going there before you sell them anything, really, because the numbers game is that you're going to eventually sell a certain percentage of the people who you meet with in person. But before you can sell them something in person, you got to get there in person. Is that right? I mean, is that kind of the way you think about it?
Absolutely. And it helps me on the nose too. It's like, hey, listen, I just made $6,500, $6,600, whether they say yes or no. So you forget, in sales, you forget those ones. It's hard if you get in a slump or something like that. You just got to keep hitting that number. So it turns it into a numbers game, and it just works out. Works out for my psyche. Works out for the sales guy's psyche. So it's all good.
Yeah, I know. I mean, listen, I'm talking to guys all day, every day on the phone, and sometimes I can get into a little slump. And it's really easy when you're in a slump and you're like too hungry to make a sale, that you actually get worse at selling stuff.
Absolutely.
So it's a good way to stay positive, knowing that like, all right, I'm about to jump in the car for 44 minutes. I'm not feeling good about this, but like, I know that if I just go, it's worth $6,600
absolutely
on average. So I'm going to just do this. And then you get there and it's a mindset thing.
Absolutely. And you're never desperate.
Right. Exactly. So are you sending, so when you can't get them on the phone, first phone call, you're sending them a text. What are you sending them?
I'm sending them a quick text saying, hey, thanks for the inquiry. Like to discuss your roof replacement with you. And usually they'll shoot something back. Nowadays, it seems like some people just want to communicate via text. I have been sending video text as well. So I just smile on there and introduce myself real quick and see if they can call me back. So that's been working as well. Getting back on that. And then the emails, your typical email, same thing, basically on text, just a quick, hey, hit me back so I can discuss. I'm going to be in your area, maybe next Thursday and Friday. Let me see if I can swing by. Tons of people. This whole environment is different nowadays with people working from home. It's so much easier to set a lead during the day. Like before, we only had so many leads we could run at night because, you want both people there, hopefully, and they're both work. So they're, and then they get home, they're frustrated because they got to get the kids, dinner and fed. They're just got home from work. They're stressed out. Now it's just a different environment. I kind of love it because I can actually run a legitimate lead at 10, noon, 1 o'clock. And it's the same as what I was running before. So now I can run 3 leads during the day and not even grind at night anymore. Right. It's awesome.
That is awesome. That's so true. I never even thought about that. In some ways, the sales process is easier.
It is
because of that. So, on the form or the questionnaire that people have to answer in order to become a lead for you, I make it so that they have to tell you what kind of house they're in, whether it's a single family home, a townhome or duplex, a mobile home, or or an apartment. You're getting basically all single family homeowners.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I did 2 trailers.
Yeah. Do you do trailers? I forgot.
We normally don't now.
Okay. So do you just call them and be like, hey, I'm sorry, but blah, blah, blah? I
call them and I'll pull it up. And if it's like, because normally we don't really do flat roofs. So if it's a pitched roof and it's, I hate to say this, if it's in a nice trailer home park, then I might, my grandfather always told me I miss 100% of shots I never take. At least look it up online and see if it's something. So I actually going to go to a lead in Westchester, Pennsylvania on a nice trailer park tomorrow.
Cool.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Can't hurt.
But that's not my ideal client, obviously.
Right. Your ideal client, single family homes, that's 99% of the leads you're getting. Yeah. And then one of the other questions is how many square feet their homes are, between a certain number of square feet. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but what did we put the lowest square footage at that we don't want necessarily?
Well, you put under 1,200. So we put under 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
Which a typical townhouse is going to be 10 squares or.
So we made anyone that says under 1,000 square feet. Obviously, you still get that lead and you can still make money on it, but it's not your ideal client.
Exactly.
So you kind of know when you get a lead, you get a little bit of extra information. Whether you get one of the whales of over 4,000 or 5,000 square foot home. You also know if you get something that if you're watching TV with your kid, maybe, all right, I'll wait 25 minutes instead of calling them back this second.
I don't know if that happens.
It doesn't happen.
You can pause the TV now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Unless Frozen's on, then you're like, I'll watch Frozen.
Yeah, you're right.
But have you, in what ways has that helped you, if any, knowing the kind of the square footage? Has that helped you in any way at all?
I mean, it definitely weeds out the little houses that it doesn't come through if somebody's there. But a typical house around us is going to be, in that 1,500 to 3,000 square feet thing. And I don't know if it gives me an advantage or not. I can't really tell what it would do if we didn't have that. Mm-hmm. Everybody again, except for those 2 trailers, have been spot on as far as that goes. I haven't got any of the apartment ones to put me in contact with the property manager or any of that kind of stuff. But it's hard to answer that, to be honest with you, because I don't know any different.
Yeah, well, I can tell you what my intentions were for that was less so on your end and more so on my end, so that I can get you better quality leads. Like when I ask these questions of the homeowners, if they answer in such a way that suggests that they're not your ideal client, it takes them to a thank you page after they submit all their information that doesn't count as a lead in my book.
Okay, good.
So it basically says to Facebook, thanks for trying, but this is not the kind of person we want. And then Facebook will learn not to show it to the trailer park persona or demographic because it knows so much about everyone. So if you got 10 mobile home leads, for instance, that would tell Facebook, like, these don't count as wins. And eventually Facebook would say, all right, of these 10 people, what do they have in common? Like, what are their buying patterns? What are their interests? And typically people that live in certain houses will drive certain cars, or they'll go watch certain TV shows, or they'll buy certain, read certain magazines, or visit, or they like certain comedians or something, so they've got 1,000 different cross-reference points. So eventually Facebook goes, all right, we got to stop showing it to the people with the common thread that all of the mobile home, all of these types of leads have. And then eventually, and maybe even already, it's starting to kind of move or ebb in the direction of
the ideal customer.
Exactly. Yeah.
They've all been good. So I couldn't be happier with the leads. Like I told you before, was that they're awesome. One thing is concerning me is my buddies that are in the industry. They call me. They're like, "Oh, dude, I see you running all these Facebook ads." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, it's not working."
It's not working, but I'm gonna keep paying.
Yeah, I'm just throwing darts, man. I'm just trying anything.
That's funny, man. That's really funny.
Don't air any of your stuff near me.
Yeah, no, I won't. Actually, when I run this as an ad, because I'm definitely going to, I'll just exclude all of Delaware.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's funny, man. I'll just exclude your whole area. That's hilarious. So what does the next 2 months look like? I mean, obviously keeping up with the leads, selling stuff, but are you going to hire salespeople? Are you going to expand, or is this the perfect business size boutique kind of run well? You got the lead.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to run with this. Like I told you before, I used to own a large company, and I moved from doing this, which I like, being out with the customers, out with the guys on the jobs and all that stuff, to stuck in the office managing personalities. And that's not where I want to be. I want to be right here where I'm at right now. So this is a perfect situation for me to generate the leads. And like I said earlier, with the leads being during the day, it's awesome for me spending time with my kids in the evenings and, being home for dinner and that kind of stuff, and still making a ton of money. So I'm really happy with the situation right now. So if it can keep up like this for the next couple months, I'll see where it goes. If it gets to the point where I need to add somebody and I can do that, I do have a couple people on the back burner that are ready to rock.
So that's cool that you've got choices. This can work perfectly for someone who's just looking to run a small operation, but make great margins because they don't have a ton of overhead. Or you could see this being something that you could use to scale a business.
Oh, 100%. And this would be awesome if I had multiple locations like I had before, and you can set up the demographics like you do, and I can feed different offices from there. It's a no-brainer. It's a win-win. And the fact that it starts right out of the gate and it hasn't stopped. So I've never had a marketing, besides HomeAdvisor and paying for kind of crappy leads, this has been the first marketing avenue that I've used that has both of those dynamics starting right away, and all the leads I go to are awesome.
Is there anything you'd change? Anything?
Probably not. I mean, in an ideal world, not be able to contact everybody, but I've been through all that. I know I'm not going to get a hold of every single person that's on there, but as long as I get a hold of the majority of the people and I can close those deals, then I'm cool with it running as a numbers game. But if I can contact every single person, you would think that if they're contacting you on Facebook, that they want to hear back from you.
Yeah.
And I talked to you about it before. Maybe it's a bad phone number. I can't get a hold of them, or they don't go, their email's not off, or something like that. I haven't run into anybody that said, where they answer the phone like, I don't know who you are. I don't know how you got my number. I've never once had that. They're like, oh yeah, I just put that in. Yeah, absolutely. And which is refreshing.
Yeah, that's a good
Because a
feeling.
lot of times we would do this HomeAdvisor once, and it was a 2-part sale, right? We'd get the lead, but then we'd have to sell the appointment before we even got to the appointment, which was nuts, right? What are we paying for a lead that I have to sell just to get out to their house?
Right. Like, why am I paying for a lead so that I can call someone so they can tell me how much they hate me?
Absolutely. I should just open up the phone book and just call people out of that. And
Yeah, exactly.
probably better, right? Because there's not 5 other customer or 10 other contractors calling them at the same time.
That's so funny.
I used to run this joke with the people as soon as they answer the phone. I'm like, if I was their first person on there, I'm like, just wait. You're going to get 3 calls while we're on the phone together, and they're all thinking that you're giving away free beer.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Because they just have to, and sure enough, it would be like click, click. Oh, there's another call coming in.
Yeah.
So
that's really funny.
So long story short, if I could just get a hold of every single person, that would be ideal. But I'm very, very happy with the results that I'm getting. I'm hoping it stays heavy.
I think it will. I think it'll get heavier. In fact, as Facebook, as a result of the way I have it set up, learns more and more about who not to show your ads to based on the information we're sending back to them after they become a lead, it should get better and better and better. And because you're getting, there are people who are on a little bit longer of a lead time to become a lead. Like, there are a lot of people who, especially people in the larger homes, who are a little bit more discerning. They've got a lot of money. They're a little more frugal and whatever, but they've got your big whale home type people. Like, they'll see something, they'll be skeptical, they'll click on it, they'll get halfway through the questionnaire, and then they'll bail.
Yeah.
And then, but 3 months later, we'll still be following them. We're not going to leave them alone now that they've clicked it. So eventually they're going to turn over, and you're going to notice that people that reached out to you that you couldn't get a hold of, they know who's calling them, and they're just putting it off. So if you call them once a month, shoot them a text once a month, just little light check-in, could be funny about it. You could be like, hey man, I think I'm annoying myself at this point, but I'm checking in because like I got nothing else to do, or I'm just hanging with my kids and I just figured I'd shoot you a text and see if you need any help, whatever. I have clients that have been with me for years. They say a whole year after they get a lead, they'll close it.
Oh, wow.
So you've got the stragglers. So your pipeline's going to fill up with, obviously people that you can set appointments with and close like same week, but it's going to fill up with people who are just slow playing it, and they'll pay you eventually.
That's nice. I got to eat later too, right?
Exactly.
I always tell people like, hey, we're not ready to make a decision. I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to eat in November too. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you're going to need a roof in November.
Absolutely, yeah. The other cool thing is that you opened up my Facebook page for me. So I had no likes, no followers, 0. Right. And for somebody to go on there was against my thoughts where, man, I don't have any likes on there. I don't even have a Facebook page. How are people going to choose me through there? And that's been,
not an issue at all. Yeah. Well, the way that Facebook ads are experienced from the user standpoint is you don't ever click a Facebook ad and click to the Facebook page. You click the Facebook ad, which takes you to a web page or a landing page.
I think somebody just walked in my house. Hold on 1 second.
No problem. We can end the call here if you want. We'll just, you can go do your thing. This is great. Thank you so much for the info, and call me if you need me.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, Josh. Bye.